Welcome back. And how exciting is this that you have become much more aware of your emotions? I don't know about you, but when I do this, I really feel like I have so much more control over myself and my experiences than what I ever gave myself credit for before. So let's use this momentum. We're going to talk about letting go of resistance, specifically with three different games, if you will, or strategies that we can undertake depending on what it is that we are looking to manifest and where we are emotionally. So, the first one, if you turn to page 8 of your workbook, we are going to talk about moving up the emotional scale. Now, in the last video, we talked extensively about the emotional scale and how important emotions are because they let us know whether or not we're in alignment with what it is we want. So, if we feel bad, we're not in alignment. If we feel good, we are. So, we want to feel good most of the time, right? That will allow us to see what the universe has put in front of us, which means that we actually get to receive what we are manifesting because the universe is always listening and always providing us with exactly what it is we want. We just always don't know how to receive it. All right, so letting go of resistance by using the emotional scale. As you can see in page 8 here, I have listed 22 different emotions on a scale. Well, more than 22 because some of our rows there have more than one emotion. Now, first of all, these emotions are not concrete. So if you don't ever feel, content, for example, and you would have a different word for that or a slightly different feeling, but it's basically along the same line, like calm or I don't know, easygoing or something like that. That's fine. So it's not about what words we're using here, it's whatever emotion it is that you are resonating with. Now, this activity, I'd like to talk about it first because this one is really good whenever we are feeling bad. Okay, so when we're in any of what we would traditionally call negative emotions. Now, the goal for this is actually quite simple. All we're doing is we are reaching for the next best thought or feeling that we can muster that will make us feel better than what we're feeling right now in this second. Now, first thing is first is whatever you are experiencing, whatever mood, emotion, feeling, whatever you want to call it, you only have the ability, because that's an energy vibration, you only have other similar energy vibrations accessible to you at that moment. So if you are in anger, for example, then you can slip into hatred and rage very easily and into jealousy very easily. You could also slip into discouragement and blame and worry, but it's going to be a lot harder for you to go from anger all the way up to acceptance or love or empowerment, something like that. Right? You don't have access to that energy vibration right at that moment. And this is where a lot of people go wrong because they see other people who look on the surface like they have but just slid right out of, a so-called negative emotion into something that's really positive, but they haven't seen the behind the scenes of what it actually took to get there. So they think there's a switch that they can just flick, and when they do that, they're all of a sudden going to feel so much better. And because they can't do that, they feel like they're even more broken or there's something wrong with them that they can't do it. And they get more discouraged and even start to create a negative belief about themselves and their own abilities. So just know that wherever you are on this scale, we're looking to reach for one, two, maybe at the absolute most, three emotions away from you up on that scale to start moving. Now, each one of these steps might take you an entire day to get there. It might only take you a matter of moments. Okay. It depends on you. It depends on the day. It depends on what's got you into that emotional state, right? So there's a lot of different variables. Sometimes when you do this, it'll be very quick, and other times it'll seem like it is painfully long. But if you think about it this way, there's 22 different steps here on the emotional scale. So if you were in a depressive state, right, feeling powerless, feeling despair and fear at the very bottom, and you had in 21 days, you could get all the way up to appreciation and feeling powerful and feeling joy and love, that's pretty spectacular for 21 days to come out of a depressive state. There are people that spend their whole lives in a depressive state. So to think about being able to get yourself out of it in a relatively small period of time is remarkable. So I want you to go easy on yourself with this. If you find that you're drawn to this one, it's most likely because you are in the middle range to lower range of emotion and you're looking for help to move up. The other two that we're going to address, you're probably, if you resonate with those, you're probably higher up on the emotional scale, and that's why you're drawn to those ones. So just listen to yourself, and each day it might be a different exercise that you are drawn to. So, literally, you are going to, if you were feeling depressed, powerless, fearful, right, you're just going to reach for the first thought or feeling that you can that makes you feel better. That's it. Just makes you feel better. So if you move into feeling guilty for whatever reason, doesn't matter, or unworthy, if that makes you feel better than where you were with feeling depressed and powerless and fearful, then that's a go, right? We want to feel that. Even though traditionally, of course, long term, we don't want to feel guilty and unworthy for any length of time, it's better than where you were at. Once you are at unworthy and guilty, you can then look and say, okay, yeah, maybe you go to reach for jealousy, and jealousy actually doesn't make you feel better. So, okay, skip that. We're looking only for the ones that are going to make us feel better. Okay. So the point is to rise up this scale. So if jealousy doesn't do it, okay, maybe we move right into rage and hatred. Maybe that makes you feel better. Again, long term, of course, you don't want to stay there. And that's the whole point of this exercise is to raise you all the way up that emotional scale so that you can be vibrating with the same energy vibration as what it is that you are asking for. So we do want to shift out of it, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with reaching for it in order to feel better than what you were. So now you're into hatred and rage. Okay. So now from here, it might be very easy to slip into anger. Anger is a little bit less than rage, as you can imagine. And again, other people might actually say to you, oh, no, you don't want to be angry. Oh, stop being angry. Oh, think about nice things and allow yourself to be angry if it makes you feel better than rage. And from there, you'll move up again. Maybe you start to blame somebody else, blame yourself, blame this, blame that. If that makes you feel better than anger, go with it. And you're going to walk yourself completely up this entire scale until you can get to the top, which is feeling joy or knowledge, empowerment, love, appreciation, whatever it is out of that kind of top range, that's your goal. And if that takes you a few moments, if it takes you several hours, if it takes you several days, or even takes you several weeks, once you get up there, hopefully what you will find is now that you've got more awareness about your emotions and you've been working on making sure your predominant thought is of what you want rather than what you don't want, this is a whole shift in your mindset and in your perspective. So hopefully when you do notice that you shift out of that good emotion and you start shifting down even to something like optimism, which isn't as high as appreciation, as soon as you notice that you're not fully appreciative of the things around you, or you're not feeling in love with your life or empowered or something along those lines, even though it's still a good feeling to feel optimistic, you again want to raise your awareness on what's happening and walk yourself back up to appreciation. So that is our emotional scale. Our next one is my book of positive aspects. So this is for people who are more at the higher end here. So maybe they're even as low as pessimism, boredom, but it's not as far of a leap to get all the way up to appreciation. Okay. And this exercise is basically getting you to appreciate. So, of course, we could do simple things like just write down all the things that you are grateful for, which has tremendous benefits. But what we want to do is we really want to pull out this feeling of loving something, right? Appreciating them. We really want to vibrate at that highest energy level. So, that higher emotional state. So instead of just writing out, okay, so I'm appreciative of my dog and I'm so grateful for my house or something like that, we want to put in a little bit more energy here, a little bit more effort. So what we're going to do is get a separate notebook. Even if this is a scrap piece of paper because you can't get out to the store or you can't afford right now a notebook, just get some paper, but you want to make it look nice and pretty. You want to evoke a sense of warmth, right? And pride when you look at this book. So don't just pick any old notebook. Pick something that makes your heart sing when you look at it. And then you're literally going to write on it, my book of positive aspects. And then what you're going to do is on the first page, you're going to write either the name of someone or something or a brief description. Okay, so it doesn't have to be a person, it could be a thing, and you could put a very brief description of what this is. Okay, but it's got to be something that you always feel good about. So that's the hard part here because we all have people in our life that we really love and we appreciate, but sometimes we don't always feel good about them, right? So we want to make sure that we're not going to remind ourselves of any of those difficult times. We want to choose someone or something that we always feel good about when we think about. Okay. And then you're going to write the answers to these questions that I have on page 9 for you in your workbook. You're going to answer them. Now, you don't need to write a whole novel when you do, but you do want to put in enough detail that, again, it elicits that memory of what it's like to be fully in love with this person or to admire this person or to, be so appreciative of this thing that you've got or whatever it is. So your questions are, what do I like about you? Why do I love you so much? And what are your positive aspects? So you can see how if this is a person that works perfect, but also if it's a thing, this works perfect. So now we're going to make the decision. As you are answering these questions, you're making the decision to look for what it is you want to see here so that you bring it into your experience. Okay. And on the next page, when you're done with that, so maybe on a separate day, the next page, you're going to start all over again. You're going to write down another name or a title of something or someone that you feel good about, and you're going to answer the same questions. So, this is a great thing to do. I do something like this when I don't do it every day because generally speaking, I stay up on the appreciative side of the scale because I have lots of other things that I do. Like I think the first thing when I wake up in the morning, I think of 3 things that I am really grateful for. When I go to sleep at night, I think of 3 things that I'm grateful for, and I don't allow myself to use the same ones. Right? I make sure that I have conversations with my husband and my stepsons every single day and tell them what I appreciate about them and things like that, right? So I kind of take it to that next level. So I use something like this when I have just realized, oh my gosh, I haven't purposely done something of appreciation. And I'm going through maybe something that is, less than desirable. And it's like, I want to get back on track. And so I'll pull this out. So it might be once a month that I do this, but this would be something that would be great for you if you find that not that you have difficulty appreciating what's in your life, but that you have difficulty remembering to focus on that and to think about that through the day, every day, then this might be something that would be really great for you to do perhaps at some point in your day, every day for a full week, for example. And then the last one that we're going to look at is a really fun game called the prosperity game. So now we just have to remind ourselves that the universe's language is energy vibration, right? So it in a great way here, the universe makes absolutely no distinction between the vibration that you are offering in response to what you're actually living compared to the vibration that you're giving off in response to what you're imagining. It's just responding to the vibration. So that means that this particular exercise is a really powerful game for shifting your vibrational point of attraction. So this is another one that's really good to do if you are somewhere in the top range of our emotional scale. So you're already feeling pretty darn good. And it's an excellent one if it's money that you're trying to manifest, which I've put in here because a lot of people do want to manifest money. But you'll see as we go through this one, it doesn't have to be specifically money that you're trying to manifest, but just that feeling that you get with being able to buy whatever it is that you want. Okay, so freedom, if you like. So what you're going to do here is we want to be able to have some system in place where we can pretend like we have received money and then we can pretend like we are spending money. So we need some sort of checking account that we can use, an old checkbook, an accounting program that we can set up, kind of a dummy account. We're obviously not linking this to our bank account. We have no real flow of funds that's happening here. Okay. And if you don't have, any of that, you can just make, on pieces of paper. You can manufacture a complete system using a notebook. You just want to have some checkbooks, and then you want to have some kind of deposit slips. Okay. So on day one, what you're going to do is make a deposit entry of $1,000. Okay, so if you've got like a little book that you've created, or you've got this already that for an account that you never use for checks anymore, then you can just write out deposit $1,000. And then as soon as you do that, you're going to write out checks to spend that $1,000. Okay, so it could be one check. If you know there's something that you really want that would take that $1,000, do it. If it's a bunch of smaller things, do it. It doesn't matter. What does matter is that you have fun thinking about what it is that you would purchase, enjoying the process of actually writing out the checks, right? You don't have to worry about how much money is in your bank account or whether the check is going to bounce or anything like that. This is all, oh, I know I've got this money because I just put this money. Oh, yeah, let it go out there. Oh, I'm going to buy this and I'm going to buy this, and really picture yourself. Right? You can even take it to the next level where you can actually write out these checks and then take them with you, have them in your wallet. And as you're walking around and you see different things in shops, you can just kind of pull off to the side and write out the check and put in the memo for those fabulous shoes I saw at blah, 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 or, that type of thing, right? And so you really want to get into it. This is basically reminding yourself visually, auditorily, and kinesthetically what it's like to be able to purchase anything that you want. All right. On day two, you're going to do the exact same thing, but it's going to be $2,000. Day three will be 3,000. Day four will be 4,000. So you're upping the game by $1,000 every single day, and you're going to play this game every day. Okay, every day play this game. And if you play this game every day for a year, that means you will have made and spent $66 million, just over $66 million. So now you are perfectly situated to manifest anything you want, like a boss. So get cracking. Remember that if you've realized that you have some beliefs maybe that are running your show, so beliefs about not being good enough, you have to work really hard for your money, you should never have more than what you need, or else that means you're greedy or you're underhanded or something along those lines. You're not good enough, you don't deserve this, you don't have the ability to earn money, or whatever these are. There are so many different beliefs that pop up in our lives. The core beliefs get set by the time we're 7 years old. So just hearing other adults talk about things, the opinions that they have, which have turned into beliefs for them, perhaps, and they start to create opinions in you. And then all you need to do is actually see something happen that looks like evidence that that opinion is actually true. And now that becomes a belief. And these beliefs can run our show. But of course, as you are aging and you are learning new things and you're having your own experiences, of course, then you also have the issue of creating other beliefs, right? You're driving and somebody cuts you off and you just happen to notice the make of their car. So maybe they drive a big Range Rover, And so you think, oh, that guy in the Range Rover cut me off. And if within a short period of time, something else happens with a Range Rover, so maybe a friend of yours tells you about a Range Rover that got into an accident, or you see it on the news, or somebody else gets cut off, or you get cut off, something happens with a Range Rover. Now, all of a sudden, that opinion that the Range Rover cut you off has now turned into a belief that Range Rovers and people that drive Range Rovers are erratic drivers, or they're dangerous, or they always cut people off, or something along those lines. So we do this type of thing every day, all day. So as you've been going through these activities of what it is that you want, bringing your awareness up for your emotions, and then letting go of your resistance by keeping your emotions higher on that scale so that you can vibrate at the same frequency as what you're trying to manifest. If you've noticed that there are some thoughts that have creeped in that you've gone, oh, that could be limiting me. Or you go through all of these steps and you're like, I'm still not manifesting. What's going on? I guarantee you that it's a limiting belief that's getting in your way. So if you haven't already signed up for the NLP sessions, you are still welcome to do that. You can always reach out and contact me as well at lifelikeyoumeanit.com if you'd like to discuss with me anything about the NLP. This has been an absolute pleasure, and I wish you all the best in your manifesting like a boss new life.